What's up, everybody? Welcome to Inside Brooklyn. This is your girl Jams. I am the owner and founder of WJMS Radio Reimagined. I am not joined by my co-host today. It's going to be me, myself, and I running the podcast this afternoon, but that's quite all right. I am very, very excited today to bring you this podcast. It is sponsored by Trendy Trippin', of course, and shout out to the Brooklyn Commons for providing us this beautiful location to host the podcast in. Inside Brooklyn is our way of giving the spotlight to entrepreneurs, business owners, and creators in and out, around Brooklyn who are making a difference in their community and really doing big and amazing things that people haven't had the opportunity to really hear about just yet. So today, this afternoon, I am joined on the couch by Johanne Civil, who is the founder of Pearl Market. She has hosted numerous small pop-ups here at the Brooklyn Commons location, and she also is a successful event director and the speaker coordinator for Black Women Talk Tech. And I'm very, very excited to welcome you to the show today. So how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So you're a little bit of a slacker, and you didn't give me any bio on you. So now I'm putting that ball in your court. Can you give the audience a little bit of information on who you are and where you came from?
What happened was, basically I've been working in the tech field for the past 2 years. By working, I've actually worked for tech companies. I'm a tech founder as well. And in starting my company about 2 years ago, that's what drove me towards the market and working with Black Women Talk Tech. They're a group that I absolutely adore with the kind of work that they're doing for women in tech in general and specifically for Black women.
Okay.
And Brooklyn Commons has become kind of a second home for me. I've met so many different entrepreneurs here. My career has been eclectic for the past couple of years.
Eclectic, okay, all right, I like that word. It's our SAT word for the day. So I want to start because I definitely want to dive into the tech because I think that's a big deal, especially with African American women in the STEM field. You don't see a lot of us here, so I'm really excited to talk to you about that. But I do want to talk about Pearl Market because I also love to shop, and I want to talk about shopping, of course. So Pearl Market is it's a sort of a roving food, fashion, beauty, and homestyle pop-up market that you travel seasonally to unique venues here and around Brooklyn. From what I'm reading, it's all female vendors. Is that correct?
We are female-centric. In other words, we focus on female founders. Okay. But we're welcoming to everyone. We welcome everyone.
That's awesome.
We've never turned anyone around because they're not female or they don't know a co-founder who's female.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about where that idea came from. Do you yourself sell anything at the Pearl Market, or are you just the coordinator behind the scenes?
See, what happened was again.
Oh boy.
Well, to be honest, I have never sold anything at any of our markets. The reason why is because when I came in as a founder. Basically what that means is about 2 years ago, I created an app. And the app was supposed to be a networking platform for women of color.
Time out. She created an app, y'all. Like, she went in there and made the app.
I stole somebody's code, pieced it together, Frankensteined it, and turned it into an app.
No, real talk, back in the MySpace days, I'm dating myself a little bit, but during the MySpace times, we were coding. Like, we would create profiles on MySpace and put, like, little music players on there that you could not turn off. Yeah, you were putting, like, little GIFs and moving stuff on there. So, like, back in the day, MySpace was really kind of setting the stage for some of the coding that we're doing now, but we digress.
Yes.
Back into your story.
In doing the app, I realized that one of the things that I wanted, because we do so much as women, and specifically Black women, we have our fingers in just about anything, just so we can bring home the money to take care of ourselves and our families. I decided to put a platform on there that I called Pearl Market, because the app was called Black Pearl Collective. The collective we started growing a community in real life, and then at all of the events that we did a market.
Yeah.
In the market, I started meeting more vendors, I started meeting more brand founders, and that basically snowballed. It snowballed into a consistent market that we did last year, and this year was the first full-blown market year for us.
Yeah.
So I basically put Black Pearl Collective on hold so I could grow the marketplace itself. So that's where the market came out of. It's an app that gave birth to a market.
That's good. That's what you want. You want your app to kind of transform and take shape and really sort of morph into bigger things. You know, you don't want it to just stay in that. And I think if you could successfully make that happen, I think that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. So in terms of who the vendors that you work with are, you know, I know it's a lot of different, you know, types of people that come to vendor fairs, but what kind of, I guess, products, services, genre, what have you, what sort of sells the best, or what do you see people always just along the line for?
My formula was from head to toe. In other words, whenever I have a marketplace, I have somebody who's selling something for the well-being of your hair, your scalp, your face, your skincare, something for you to rock so you can look fly, something to decorate your home with, something for you to ingest that will make you feel better, which is why I'm a great advocate of women who are behind CBD companies. And also anything where you can put on your feet, something you can take home to your kids, a gift for your boo, anything along those lines is really what I look for the marketplace. It has to be a wholesome thing where you have no excuse. When you walk in, you can say, oh, you guys don't have any nail polish. Actually, we do in the back.
Yeah, because you look.
So we always have something that makes sense. It's a whole family or whole life experience market.
Okay, I like that. Because I mean, I feel like you go into some of these pop-ups and you don't know what to expect, you don't know what you're getting. You know, sometimes you go in there and you feel like you're obligated to buy something because you came in and it's a small atmosphere.
Right.
You know, but I feel like when you have a pop-up market that is tailored to women and women of our color, if you will, you know, you're more compelled to buy things because you know that the products that were made were created with you in mind.
Okay, so I'm gonna start a little controversy right now.
Oh snap, oh snap.
So the market has never been for Black women only.
Okay, good.
I think what I've noticed within our community is once women see my picture or they see who I am, they automatically assume, oh, a Black woman, so it's a Black market. It's never been that. The market itself has always been open to anyone, no matter what your racial composition is, no matter what your ethnic background is, your religious following. It's never been that. It's always been open to anyone who feels comfortable, who wants to be in the space, who's got shit to, excuse my French, who's got stuff to sell. I'm sorry, Mom. I just slipped that.
No, honestly, that's just good business practice because it means that you're not, you know, I mean, niche markets are great, but in terms of creating a business that's expandable, sometimes it's good to not alienate, you know, the people who are purchasing your product or vending at your product.
I think it's counterproductive when we're all sitting here in this environment nowadays. We're talking about diversity and inclusion, and for us to turn around and be like, oh no, this is just for Black people.
We're only including Black people.
it makes no sense to me. I see certain environments where that's necessary in order for us to afford ourselves opportunities. But within such a big spectrum, such as fashion and shopping, I feel that that's really counterproductive to do something like that.
Yeah, most definitely. So let me ask you a sort of a controversial question then in that case.
Uh-oh.
So, you know, obviously it goes without saying that Amazon is sort of putting a lot of brick and mortar businesses and small businesses out of business just at the sheer size and capability of their company. Do you feel threatened? Do you feel worried? Are you concerned at all for how well your pop-ups are going to do facing such large competition like Amazon and other delivery services like that?
To be honest, Amazon is not the competition that I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is more of a situation right now that the market is saturated with pop-ups.
Yeah.
Everything is whatever big boy pop-up. Everybody's using the terminology pop-up. And I feel that it's actually taking away from a lot of these wonderful brands because there's too much going on at once. And somewhere along the line, whether it's this year or next year, there's going to have to be some form of shrinkage for us to be in a position where it's more profitable for the people who are spending their money to be a part of it. The smarter people that I've seen, though, have utilized marketplaces now as more of a marketing tool for them to get their name out, for them to connect with other vendors and such. But people like Amazon and other digital platforms, I'm not worried about them because of the simple fact that we are in a day and age where it's super easy for you to open a website yourself. It's super easy for you to become a marketplace, an online marketplace. And if that's the transition that makes more sense for us in the coming years, which it's part of the process anyway because we started off as an app, then that's what it's going to be.
That's super smart.
I mean, we're not the only one who's doing it. There's several other great companies out there. There's Bulletin, which is online and brick and mortar. There's Michelle Dalzone who started Arbonne.com, who just opened her store in Boston. So there's a lot of other Restore is in California. There's a lot of other people, women, entities who are doing this. It's just about how are you marketing it, how are you getting your name out, and what do you really want to do? And not everybody's gonna like you.
Yeah.
If you don't like me, you have other options.
Not
If
everybody's
you don't like them, exactly. If you don't like them, you come to us.
Yep.
You know, we may be your better buy.
So then if Amazon isn't necessarily your competition, you know, but you mentioned there's a whole bunch of other folks doing something similar, what sets Black Pro Market apart? Or what sets, Pro Market apart from the other
I would say what sets us apart is we are technically a market for the vendors. What I say by that is I've noticed that a lot of marketplaces go through the process of creating an experience, not realizing that your vendors are the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Without them, you don't have an experience.
True.
And being that a portion of my past life has been hospitality, I feel that these are the people that you need to treat the best. Why? Because they're entrusting in you to give you their money. They're entrusting in you to give them, an opportunity to shine.
Yeah.
And it may be a situation like I mentioned with the saturation right now, where you can't drive 100 to 200 to 500 people through the door, but you drive the right people through the door, where it creates other opportunities for them. A lot of the vendors that I've worked with, the number one thing I hear from them all the time is, I actually met someone at your last pop-up that gave me this amazing opportunity. And those are things that I can't even plan ahead of time.
Those are success stories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel that if we continue along the line of making sure that we stay true to our motto of taking care of our vendors, then we'll continue to thrive.
That's awesome. So I talked to somebody, oh goodness gracious, and I don't think he's gonna be able to help me. Remember we talked to that person who had a directory of vendors for pop-ups, and not pop-ups, but like for markets. After the show, I will connect you with that person. Basically, they have an artist, like it's sort of like a Rolodex, if you will, of career, like not career fairs, but just pop-ups and market fairs and things like that, where like maybe you could take that information, share it with your vendors, so if they're looking for additional markets and things to pop into, they can kind of connect with them. But I can't, at the top of my head, I can't remember what the woman's name was. But so I know you just had a pop-up recently, and I know you have another one coming up soon. So talk a little bit about that one, what's going to be there, what people can expect, and any other events that you have coming up with Pro Market.
Our last market of the year, 2019, is actually at Brooklyn Commons. It's on Saturday, November 30th.
It's such a good day,
isn't it? It's Shop Small. Happy birthday!
Anyway, I'm sorry.
It's Shop Small is happening that day. It was a concept coined by American Express. We partnered with them for the pop-up, and basically what we were doing is encouraging people to come through. Yeah. Come in and shop small with small businesses that are local. They're your neighbors. They're in the community. You see them all the time. And it's a great way to support the local economy, to support those brick and mortars that you're talking about. Because a lot of small businesses right now, what they're doing is basically they're turning into, I guess you can say, collaboratives. They're all putting their coins together to have a portion of that, I guess you can say, that business dream, that American dream. Definitely. Because rent in New York is just too damn high. And not everyone can have a shop anymore. So pop-ups are really the way that brands are getting their names out and doing business.
So what time is that running from?
We're going to be at Brooklyn Commons, the Flatbush location.
Okay, so here.
Yeah, it's going to be from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Gotcha.
Last year we ran later, but this year we decided to keep it a little short so that people can come in during, a good part of the day, enjoy it. We're going to have free drinks.
Okay.
We have some amazing vendors who are going to be there. We have Cass Rums that are going to be there. We have Avala that's going to be there.
Nice.
Trace Street Jamco is going to be there. Lumiere is going to be there. So those are different companies. You asked earlier what makes us different. We actually take the time to seriously curate the market. We look for women who are putting their energy into creating something different. Yes, there's a million candle companies, but Lumiere is different because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And it's a brand. It's not just selling tchotchkes. It's a brand. And we never turn away people who are resellers, which are basically women who haven't really made their own products, but they're selling a specific type of product.
Yeah.
And I feel that we recognize them because they're taking the time to build a brand. They're just doing it differently.
The one thing I remember I saw, I don't remember if it was on Facebook or some other social media thing, was, and it's always around this time where people are shopping for like Christmas season and stuff like that. But it was something along the lines of like, you know, when you shop with a local vendor, you're paying for piano lessons and soccer practice, and you're putting food on, you know, a neighbor's plate instead of lining the pockets of a corporate person.
That's very true.
And that always stuck with me because I always just felt like it was such a good way to market shopping locally. You know, like you're helping a family put their child into, you know, soccer or something, or after school programs.
Yes.
And for me, I always thought that was so, just, it was touching. You know, I thought that was a really good way to market shopping locally. But where can people find Pearl Market, follow you guys? Because I do want to talk a little bit about Black Women Talk Tech.
We're pearlmarket.com. We had to spell market differently because somebody in China beat us to it.
Oh, snap.
So it's MARKT. There's no E in market for us. And it's the same on Instagram and Facebook. We kept it the same throughout. So you can always find us. Yeah, exactly. It's Pearl Market on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Okay, excellent. So we'll make sure to shout that out on our YouTube page when this goes live so that people can follow the link directly to your page and like and follow. So I do want to give an opportunity to talk about Black Women Talk Tech because that's amazing to me. Like, first of all, in the STEM industry, you never see us. Like, we are so underrepresented in the STEM industry. That's why there's so many grants and opportunities and programs available for women and minority-owned businesses in the STEM field because it's like they're needing us. Right. So to hear somebody who's like, sounds like you eat, sleep, and breathe technology, like to hear somebody who is that person, I'm like, yes, let's talk about it. So can you break down what, you know, Black Women Talk Tech is all about, how you got involved with them and where it came from?
When I decided to start my app, basically I went and looked for any kind of resource that will help me get there.
Yep.
We are in 2019, so I found Black Women Talk Tech in 2017, I believe. And 2018 I attended my dates are all over the place.
It's all good. We won't judge.
2 years ago, I attended my first conference with them.
Okay.
And in attending the conference with them, I fell in love with the group. It's Isosa, Lauren, and Regina. They're 3 Black women who started their own technology companies and decided, like, hey, this field, I don't see anybody coming like me.
Yep.
They also decided, hey, where's the access to the resources, the funding, the capital, the people who are going to guide us? And it wasn't really there. So they decided to start a conference that would basically be the epicenter for Black women who are trying to start anything in the technology field. Whether you are working for NASA and you want to do your own thing, whether you want to work with NASA, whether you want to do a tiny little app like me, whether you want to do biotech, clean tech, whatever it may be, they're there to provide those resources or actually point you to where you can get access to the resources if you're not there. When I attended my first conference with them, it was actually their second year. And I spent my entire year talking about these women in this conference. Anybody that I met, I was like, girl,
let me tell you about.
It's called Black Women Talk Tech. You may not be in technology, but you'll find access to resources for anything there, which is the truth. The following year when I went, about 10 of the women that I told about it attended the conference. And it was great for me. When I saw the opportunity that they were looking for a speaker coordinator, I jumped on that ball so fast. And thank goodness it worked out, and now I'm part of the process. I understand their process better. I understand their needs better. And I'm also able to connect women that I've met for the past 2 years with them as well. Founders come in all shapes and sizes, and believe it or not, somebody who's in clean tech can give you an idea that you can blow out in fashion. You can do somewhere else. You just have to be open-minded and willing to connect those dots.
I love it. So we did bring on Nizer. I don't know if you know Nizer. Right?
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say I'll see if you two are connected anyway. Because I was like, it seems like they should be working together or at least communicating. But yeah, I'm always fascinated with people who love technology because I just feel like it's such a field that really, like, the sky's the limit. Like, honestly, like, if you really think about it, 10, 20 years ago, we were, not even thinking about, having Wi-Fi so you could have internet everywhere you go. Before it was like AOL dial-up discs, and it was like you had to go to a store and get like net zero dial-up discs, and like, oh man, I'm out of my 2 hours of internet, and like that was what it was. And at the time, that seemed like the best thing ever, and it just seemed like that was great. And now it's like, as we move forward and we move like longer into or further into different technology, you're like, that was like so archaic. And you start thinking about like just how far all of this stuff can go, and it's exciting to me. So to know that there are Black women and, you know, just everybody really involved in this field is exciting.
What they've opened my mind to is realizing that, to be blunt and straightforward, Black people are behind in tech.
Yeah.
The things that we are into right now that we're looking at are things such as creating apps, creating, what is it? What's the show where the guy created the app called Woody Woo? Was it?
I think I know what you're talking
Insecure.
about. Yeah.
Insecure.
I was gonna say, was that it? Yeah.
Yes. When he was in the office and he was talking, and they were like, "Oh, that's so archaic," like you said.
Yeah.
We are really behind when it comes to tech, and I think some of us are taking the time to do the work to make sure that we're bringing the rest of us with us. I remember I watched a documentary maybe a month ago where the guy was laughing when somebody said, "I created a tech." He's like, "Yeah, and I'm creating a company that's gonna get us to live on the moon." And none of us are thinking of that down here.
Yeah, no.
Like, oh, this guy is building on the moon.
Like,
We're behind. We're so behind.
And I mean, I could obviously make like a super argument for educational resources and access to the information needed to be on par with some of our peers, but we won't do that today. We'll leave that over. But you and I both know there's an educational gap in terms of educating Black and brown girls, like boys and girls, about technology in schools. There's just a lack of access to those resources. But I'm very, very excited. So I know there's an event coming up in February, right? There's a tech week.
The conference actually, the Black
Yeah.
Talk Tech 2020 conference is February 27, 28, and 29. 27 is for founders to come in, meet each other, you know, schmooze each other. And the 28 is the bigger platform where speakers come in. They have it on their website. They've already secured some amazing speakers. Lisa Tatum is going to be there. Ricky Reynolds is going to be there. There are some amazing tech women who are going to be there. And the last day is the day that's open to everyone. If you're not a tech founder, but you're a tech enthusiast, you want to find out what's going on, you want to see what's up, that's the day for you to come in. They enjoy the day with us.
That sounds great. Okay, so where can people get tickets and find more information about that if they want to attend the conference?
There's a sale right now, FYI, everybody.
Oh, snap.
If you go to blackwomentalktech.com or blackwomentalktech.org, you'll be able to log on to the site and get your tickets. Always sign up for the newsletter because they always have some amazing news on the newsletter that they're sharing now.
Okay. So, well, Joanne, I want to thank you for taking the time to be with me today and chat with me about both of these venues. It's super duper awesome. I'm really excited. I do want to make sure I get your contact information for the audience in case they want to connect with you individually. So if you're comfortable with sharing your social media or what have you, please feel free to.
I live on Instagram.
There you
so
go.
If you go to Pro Market on IG, I will always respond. But my email is info, I keep it really simple, info at promarket.com.
Is it PAARLMARK?
Yes.
She is so consistent, ladies and gentlemen. She is consistent. I love it. Okay, cool. Well, like I said, we'll get that information back up on our YouTube so that when this airs, people have access to the information and they can find you and follow you. And I want to thank you again for being with me today. It's been really, really awesome. I'm excited to see what happens on November 30th. It's my birthday.
It's free.
I know, right? Okay. But yeah, so that'll do it for this episode of Inside Brooklyn. I want to thank the sponsors behind the scenes that make this possible: Trendy Tripping, WJMS Radio, and Brooklyn Commons, of course. We'll be back again with another brand new episode. Until then, everybody be safe and have a safe and happy Thanksgiving.